For just over 5 years, the fate of the Bladensburg Peace Cross has hung in the balance. Now its fate is set to be determined at the highest level. CNS TV's Joe Ilardi is live in Bladensburg with the story. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Amy. The cross has been gaining a lot of national attention recently, thanks to U.S. lawmakers and even Maryland Governor Larry Hogan chiming in on the issue. And while compromises have been thrown around, neither party really seems all that intent on bargaining. At the intersection of Maryland Route 450 and U.S. Route 1, a 93-year-old World War I monument stands tall. But there's a battle raging around it, and it lands in the Supreme Court tomorrow.
Why is that here? Why is there a Christian cross here?
Stephen Lowe is one of the plaintiffs in the case that seeks to have the cross removed from the public site. The Peace Cross has served as a memorial for the 49 Prince George's County residents who were killed in World War I.
I was like, this is a World War I memorial that's been standing there since, I had known, and now I know that it's been over 90 years it's been there, and it should not be removed.
Renee Green is the leader of the local Keep the Peace Cross effort. Green says the cross, under government control since 1961, is a fitting symbol for lives lost.
On the back.
The legal battle began in 2014 when the American Humanist Association filed a suit against the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. After years of court appearances, the case has one more stop before the Supreme Court. Standing at 40 feet tall in the middle of a highway intersection, the Bladensburg Cross is a constant reminder of the issue at hand: the separation of church and state. Stephen Lowe and the other plaintiffs argue that because of its location on government property and its Christian symbolism, the cross violates the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, which reads that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof.
We get used to seeing majority symbols in our culture by default, and they are not always challenged because they're not challengeable if you're not in the majority.
As for those who argue requiring the removal of the cross would impact on other displays around the country at places like Arlington Cemetery,
I'm not aware of any other religious crosses like this at all. So I'm not so sure that any other crosses are at risk because of a decision to say that this one is not constitutional.
But Green and the other supporters of the cross say the importance of the memorial needs to be considered.
Most Americans get it, but the American Humanist Association, they don't get it. They never will, and they don't care.
In Bladensburg, Joe Ilardi, CNS TV. The Peace Cross appeal is actually being merged with another similar case, and for that reason, the High Court will allow an extra 10 minutes for oral arguments tomorrow. I'll be there to bring you that story. Reporting live from Bladensburg, I'm Joe Ilardi, CNS TV. Back to you, Chandler. Silence on Pennsylvania Avenue as protesters supporting gun control laws made sure they were seen and heard loud and clear today. It's been more than a year since the Parkland shooting in Florida left 17 dead, and the fight for change rages on, even for those who can't vote yet.
So I'm gonna end gun violence, and nobody can get killed anymore.
Students from high schools around Maryland and D.C. gathered at the White House for 17 minutes, remaining silent, honoring Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School's 14 students, 2 coaches, and 1 teacher who died in the 2018 mass shooting. Then they marched to Capitol Hill to really have their voices heard. Although all these protesters today are students, they're making one thing clear: it's not just about safety in schools, it's about feeling safe everywhere. Students as young as 8, like Havana Chapman Edwards, who lost her teenage cousin to gun violence, say they want change so others can have the chances her cousin didn't.
I'm here because I deserve the chance to make it to 18 and vote people out too.
Protesters say mandatory universal background checks on those purchasing firearms is a good starting point.
Background checks are so important. Guns get into the wrong hands too much, and too many lives have been lost to do nothing.
And if lawmakers do nothing, well, these protesters say they'll vote them out. For them, it's a matter of life and death.
I know I have some brave big sisters in the building right behind me that are not going to give up because our lives depend on it.
students today wanted to make clear this issue isn't just about school shootings, but all shootings in America. They want to ensure that guns don't get into the hands of the wrong people. And from what I saw today, these young protesters are not going away anytime soon.
CNS TV's Max Marcilla is braving wind chills in the 20s near the White House, awaiting the big event.
Thanks, guys. Here at the White House lawn in Washington, D.C., one of people's favorite events of the year, the National Christmas Tree Lighting, is happening, and there's a lot that people are excited about. There's a lot to see, too. As you can look behind me, of course, the beautiful scenery of the White House, which so many people have come from so many different places to see, but then, of course, the main attraction, the Christmas tree, which will be getting lit in just a little bit. But a lot of people have told me what they're most excited for, and before the event, I caught up with them, and here's what they said.
I've never seen a Christmas tree this big in my entire life, so whenever you think of Christmas, you think of tree, so it kind of helps it.
Well, I'm definitely hoping to see President Trump and his family and be able to see the tree.
Christmas is one of my favorite holidays, and I'm really excited, so.
And a lot of holiday cheer here in our nation's capital. We'll have more from what President Trump said at this event later in our broadcast. But for now, we'll send it back to the studio. I'm Max Marcilla here in D.C. Back to you guys at the desk.
CNS TV's Max Marcilla has all the excitement down at the Hogan headquarters in Annapolis. Max?
Thanks, guys. Well, the song behind me says it all. It is a celebration at Governor Larry Hogan's watch party, now a victory party. The governor just came out and gave his victory speech. In his speech, a lot of the same themes that he talked about on the campaign, bipartisanship, and he even used a metaphor talking about the blue wave. And what do you do in a blue wave as a Republican governor? He said it's find a purple surfboard, and that's what he said he did.
And they showed us that what unites us as Marylanders and as Americans is always greater than that which divides us. Tonight, Maryland sent a loud and clear message to Washington that they will hear all across America.
And Governor Larry Hogan has won the bid for re-election of governor of the state of Maryland, the second Republican governor to ever do so, and the first since 1954. Governor Hogan behind me now, celebrating with his friends, family, fans, supporters. And now, celebration here. Let's see what's going on in Baltimore at the Democratic challenger Ben Jealous' campaign. Let's go to Sarah Malino. Sarah?
Two terrifying floods, 3 lives lost, and millions in economic activity gone. How will an iconic Maryland town turn tragedy into triumph? Hello and welcome to this special edition of Maryland Newsline. We are here live in Ellicott City. I'm Danielle Stein.
And I'm Austin Kleber. We're here on Ellicott City's Main Street, which is decked out for the holidays. But this historic town has had more than its fair share of challenges.
That's right, and the beauty and charm of Ellicott City has been tested since its founding in 1772 from devastating and even sometimes deadly floods, yet they continue to bounce back. And we thank you for joining us from the special edition live in Ellicott City of Maryland Newsline. You can find out more about our stories presented here at cnsmaryland.org. I'm Danielle Stein, and thanks for watching.
And I'm Austin Kleber. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at CNSMD and at Maryland Capital News Service on Facebook. You can find all of our shows and stories on our Capital News Service YouTube channel. Have a good night, and we'll see you back in College Park tomorrow.